Healthy body, healthy mind. And we're going to talk a bit more about that with Josh Rayner. Josh, welcome and thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, Matt, thanks for having me.
Now, for anyone in the audience who doesn't know who you are, could you just give a brief overview of yourself, your work, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm Josh Rayner. I've been really into health and fitness my whole life, just played sports and all that kind of stuff. And from a young age, I really took to the training and nutrition stuff, and I found it really interesting. So it's kind of like my first passion in a sense. And, when sports came along and in high school, I got really into the gym and then started reading all the magazines and stuff like that for diets and workout plans. And, from there, just kind of started to evolve how I could improve my performance and optimize. And over time, it kind of started to find more of a way of how to change my entire being as opposed to just like adding 5 more pounds on the barbell.
Yeah, about holistically, in other words.
Yeah, I mean, I've really pursued, and I got into paleo when I was in college because I did CrossFit for a bit.
Yeah, so did I. I was big into it in college.
Yeah, it made sense because it was like, this is how we're supposed to eat, right? Here's some sort of actual reasoning why some foods versus other foods. I always grew up eating a lot of meat, and it just kind of made sense. My mom's Persian. She made like lamb chops all the time. So, from there, I just really experimented with a lot of different things and kind of found, weirdly enough, started to notice where that really overlapped with like culture and politics over time. The CrossFit world was like very libertarian.
Mm-hmm.
I was always right leaning.
Yeah,
I wrote a Republican my entire life from a young age, as long as I can remember politics. And then
mm-hmm.
there's very strong libertarian leaning thing in CrossFit. Meat is obviously associated with the right more than the left. They kind of have like veganism and vegetarianism.
Yeah, I remember paleos, people in the paleo diet were very right wing.
Yeah. And then of course, I got into raw milk when I was in college because I was a coach at a CrossFit gym, and the owner was drinking raw milk, and he's like, "Oh man, I get this delivered by an Amish farm." So it was like 2013, and I was having raw milk delivered from this Amish farm. And then I started learning about raw milk, and, maybe then my thoughts on certain pharmaceuticals and things like that kind of started to go down this very, I don't know, maybe in somewhat like sort of reactionary sense, but just kind of this very natural, holistic way. And kind of navigating through that with where the culture has gone has, I guess brought me to where it is I am now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to perfectly map it to politics, but I have noticed that the people who tend to be into fitness and whatnot tend to be more right leaning. It's not universal, but we have the stereotypical image of the leftist who's like fat, obese, pink haired, into all this weird, sexual stuff. It's whereas on the right, you tend to see a much bigger emphasis on physical health. I mean, I took that to my heart myself. I was fat for most of my life. And what finally scared me into losing weight was about 4 years ago, I got, I call it not COVID because, but it was basically COVID when I was in El Salvador, and I recovered from that, and I had heart palpitations, and I was morbidly obese. I'm about 5'9", 5'10". I was 270 pounds. It was like, I have to fix this. Yeah. I'm getting old. Like, this might actually kill me. So I actually managed to lose about 100 pounds in about a year's time. And when I left, when I came back to the States 6 months ago, I weighed in at about 155. I've gained some of that back now. Better start doing
The
the uphill
American-
walking again.
Yeah.
But I'm in a much better position mentally and everywhere else since I lost the weight. I swear to God, it's helps you think clear. I said at the beginning, healthy body, healthy mind. They're intrinsically linked. It's not something you can't neglect one without it affecting the other.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of politics as a biological construct as well,
Mhm.
I would say I never had any reason to be left wing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
This has actually been shown in scientific studies. Like people who think, well, the left-right dichotomy doesn't exist. It's so real that doctors can scan your brain and determine based on brain scans whether you're inclined to be right-wing or left-wing. That's how it's not made up. It's literally goes down to the core of our beings.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you play sports, you get to really kind of test your might in the real world. And you get to find out whether or not you're capable of exerting your will on other people.
Yeah.
And I think that there's absolutely some effect there where you don't have to kind of devolve into these. I mean, not that you can't be in an intellectual and be right wing, but it makes it much harder to be physically dominant and be left wing.
Yeah.
Because you don't really need to explain stuff other than you can just kind of pursue what you want in life.
Yeah. Spandrel refers to the whole idea of bio-Leninism, where like the left is organized around getting like the most helpless parts of society to just, be loyal to them. Whereas if if you can fend for yourself, you don't really need left-wing ideology. You don't need a government looking out for you, et cetera, because you can take care of that yourself.
Yeah. And what you've also seen too is as the left has abandoned health almost entirely with this sort of bio-Leninist construct and actually not promoting health and promoting things which are making people sick, they are losing a lot of what they had before, which gave them, the left has like a capable fit male deficiency because they're all going, they're calling me the worst thing in the world here. And also they're trying to weaken me, where on the right, I am being, not just promoted for who I am, but there's also here's a way to get better and improve yourself. And, there's all kinds of people who have, said with sun and steel, whatever the hell it is you want to call it. There's all these ways that if you accomplish things in the physical realm and develop your body, you really do end up becoming more right wing.
Yeah, that really seemed to accelerate in the past 5 years because the left was historically associated with skepticism of big pharma, skepticism of all this organized corporate medicine,
raw milk, and if I can say the word anti,
say it,
anti-vax. Those were all core left wing. Well, not that they were core left wing ideals, but those were decidedly on the left.
Yes,
that was this hippie type, very natural thing.
I was going to bring that up. The hippie dippy types, granola types were into health, tend to be left wing, but not anymore.
They totally abandoned anything that the hippies had, if you want to call it correct, right? So now there's this sort of right wing hippie, crunchy mom, maha mom, esoteric health bro kind of thing. Because if you actually care, part of it is most people are so detached from their physical bodies in the first place that whatever's happened to them, they're almost unaware of.
Yeah, we live very sedentary lives. We live very online lives. Our lives basically revolve around that, and it's like you said, it's caused a massive disconnect between, our bodies and our minds.
And really what I've noticed too is I've always been an athlete. I've always been into fitness, but as I begin to understand, maybe not the body in general, but specifically how my body works, and I've tried different diets and experiment with different things, and not really from this biohacking total optimization sense, because I feel like people get totally lost that way, but actually just by seeking more energy and vitality in my life, I find that my health and my my mindset, perspective, ideology keep getting driven more together towards something that, for lack of a better word, is just better overall.
Yeah. If I had a criticism of biohackers, they're treating their own bodies as like a RPG, like, oh, if I get points more in this, it'll improve that. And like, they're not looking at things holistically. I'm sorry, I dealt with a lot of biohackers at my previous job, and they were kind
Yeah.
of
Well,
unbearable.
it really comes from this place of anxiety, and you see with like the look maxing stuff too.
Yeah.
It's that, what's the point of being beautiful and healthy if you're not actually sort of enjoying that?
Yeah,
And then you might
yeah.
argue that you're not actually healthy if you're not driven to enjoy your health and beauty.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these, if people are trying to lose weight or get healthy, I think where a lot of them fail is just like they do stuff that makes them miserable. Now, I understand, exerting yourself, building muscle, that does involve work. But if you're doing something that like is not compatible with like your body, you're not paying attention to what your body needs, and you're just following a rigid program that maybe not work for you, then it's not shocking that it might fail for a lot of people. I mean, it took me, many, many years before I was able to get physically fit because I kept trying stuff and it was like, this was making me miserable. I didn't have the willpower. I mean, I finally eventually, got through it, but I did find something that worked for me. What I did was I just ate a lot less. I did kettlebell exercises, simple and sinister. I did a lot of uphill walking, and I may have had help from a certain pharmaceutical substance. No, it's not Ozempic because I lived in Mexico. That wasn't approved until after I had lost all the weight. But yeah, I found that and it worked for me. I think a lot of people would benefit from, experimenting a little and finding something that works for them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, people, they want like the perfect way to do things. And so then you get something of this like perfectionist paralysis by analysis, and they never actually start to make progress. But I think really too, it's like the anxiety that from the people that want to like fully optimize everything, they kind of forget what this sort of like kind of exuberant expression of health is. Like if you're not really enjoying yourself in life, then you're doing something wrong. And I don't necessarily blame people because so many people have been told that the only way to lose weight is you have to eat like this like miserable diet that has no flavor, no fat, no sugar, nothing.
You have to eat just plain oats like a horse.
Well, like think like why would our bodies be driven towards things which are like the worst for us?
Yeah.
Right? Like that doesn't make sense. Now, maybe we are in a food environment where there's so much crap that we end up having, that's what we have access to. But, I have been able to achieve my best health while what you might call indulging in, fatty meats and ice cream and sweets and all these kind of things that are told that, like you have to eat broccoli and brown rice and cardboard.
You have to go to bed.
That's how
you have to go to bed at 9 p.m. You can't party. You can't enjoy yourself.
Well, look, like for such a long time, there was, apparently the optimal amount of drinks per day is like 1 or 2, whatever. And it's like that has antioxidants or something. And then people are like, actually, alcohol's all poison altogether. And it's like, what about just enjoying yourself? Like longevity isn't this like grueling brute force mission. The more that you actually enjoy your life, the more you want to live the next day.
Oh yeah.
Like my father died when he was just short of 91, and he worked up until he was 87. And because he loved work more than anything, and it was COVID that forced him to stop working, and then his health just took a nosedive right away. Because for him, work was not this thing I need to do to survive. This is what my life is for in the first place. He loved work more than anything. So if your life doesn't bring you this joy, then where is that real impulse to see the next day? I mean, there are people in their 20s and 30s who just lay there, and the next day they don't even care for the next day. How much longer can you actually do that for?
Yeah, I remember, I forget the name, but there was a chess master about a decade ago, like he was very highly rated, and he was also big into physical exercise, but he got a serious injury while exercising, and it caused his game to just completely collapse. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. How does breaking your leg cause you to start losing at chess if you were previously good? But again, it's that mind-body connection.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the worst things too, is that people, they try to almost like compartmentalize every aspect of the body and health and the mind. Oh, you go to therapy to work, for your mind, and as opposed to just being all one kind of unified expression, mind, body, and soul all together. my mind is better when my body is better. My body's better when my mind is better. My soul is better when my mind and body are both at their best. And so I don't really pursue things in this sort of segmented way. I have found, like, I've never been good at meditation. I get bored and I like movement. I have found my meditative states through movement, whether that been like, I like to do long walks, a very like kind of Nietzschean stroll and think about things. Like I wrote my father's entire eulogy while walking on the beach and drinking milk for a few days. And you know, there's the connection of the muscles and all these different parts of our body that we don't really even understand yet. The way everything's integrated, the way that our gut biome affects our neurotransmitters. And so like what you're eating, how you're exercising, what you're experiencing in your life. Like if you have suffer heartbreak, you can then have injuries to the physical body. Yeah. Right. Like they're not separate. And so I don't really look towards anything that doesn't consider that, because I have found I've seen too much of the evidence firsthand, whether it's controlling your breathing while you're exercising, to completely change my mental state and my emotional state, to be able to discount any of that. I just couldn't do it because I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've had the same issues with meditation. It's like every time I try to meditate traditionally, I just fall asleep. Whereas I get my best ideas and my best focus when I'm, okay, maybe the neighbors aren't really fond of me pacing it back and forth at 3 a.m, listening to music, but you know, that works for me. And again, like it goes back to the idea of you need to find what works for you, is what is compatible with your lifestyle, what your desires are, instead of a one size fits all approach.
Yeah, you know, and that's one of the things too, which is now there's this like alternative health sphere, which has gotten very popular, especially since COVID, as people are distrusting the major institutions, and like no one really knows where to go. That's kind of like a major problem. You're seeing this politically, because now you have every person who sort of woke up during COVID just sort of grasping at anything, whether it be politically, all kinds of crazy conspiracy theories, never actually looking towards a potential future where there's something better. It's just everything is bad. And then you see the exact same thing in the health sphere where, this diet, oh no, this thing. And then every single supplement, we have to go look, oh, everything is tainted. It's got heavy metals. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't be pursuing like, do your research and find better things, but there's like this crazy neurosis. And I don't think a lot of people are actually getting towards health. Just like I don't think a lot of people who are in the sort of political media sphere,
they're not getting towards truth.
They're not getting towards truth in anything. And that's why, you know, what my focus, so a lot of people don't know this, before COVID, I was kind of something, I hate the term, and everyone always says they hate the term, but I was like an anti-influencer, fitness influencer. Like I didn't sell anything. I wasn't making money. I was just, you
didn't have a new course every 6 months.
No, I just posted videos of myself working out and like to write a little caption, because that was just my like natural expression. And that was what I was doing every day. It was what I was thinking about. But then funny enough, through doing that, I ended up landing my own TV show on ESPN. For some producers saw my Instagram, and so for me, like my life was just like taken off right before COVID hit. We had done 4 episodes in 2019, and then we got picked up for a full season in 2020. COVID happened. And so for me, I sort of have this like, they took my life away from me. They took so many things away from so many of us, whether they locked you up, you know, your relative died and you couldn't go to the funeral, you lost your job, you lost this, you had to take the vaccine, you lost your health. So, I mean, everyone rightfully has this anger about what was done to us unjustly. And so, but the thing is, for me, it's like, I'm really wanting to kind of go back. You can't go back to the life I had before. That life is totally gone. Those friends are gone. That lifestyle is gone. So now I'm trying to pursue something new. And for me, it was always the fitness world and being really, I just love people. I love being social. And so, you know, I was very happy to join with Lady Astor to do Delphica Society. You know, we're throwing these parties and getting people together. And I can't say too much now, but I'm working on a new media thing, which will be a health and fitness based stuff. Because what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to connect with people. That's really what makes me happy.
Really, really awesome stuff. It might be time to wrap it up. So, Josh, any final thoughts on any of this?
You know, the tough part is you have to have a good head on your shoulders first, and you have to be able to trust yourself and your ability to look for truth. And the only thing I can ever tell anyone is if you take something in your life that you can have control over, because like whenever I sort of kind of start to lose my sense of grounding, for me, I got to go for a walk. I got to go for a walk, clear myself. I'm getting movement. I clear my mind. That's the easiest thing for me. If you find something tangible to grab onto, they've done studies with this. If they give an animal something to bite on while experiencing pain, they're much more resistant to the pain. It's basically the cure for learned helplessness. So if you have something that you can grab onto that gives you stability and foundation, if you're a musician, play some music. If you need movement, if you need to read, find something that gives you, I'm okay, like I'm sort of safe. I can interact with the world in a sense that makes me feel like I'm capable and useful. From that place, then you can actually pursue things and not sort of go so scattered. That's going to be your closest way to get the truth.
Wise words. Now, Josh, where can people follow your work, learn more about you?
Mostly on X, formerly Twitter, at Josh Rayner Gold. I don't post on Instagram as much, but same handle there. And the same for my YouTube channel. I do a nutrition podcast called Rayner Radio. And if you stay tuned on all those channels, you will see all of my future projects come out.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Josh. Legitimate non-coverundum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. I'm Matt Forney with Josh Rayner, and we are out.